There we go. Janet, I would like to say thank you so much again for spending some time with me this morning. Um, I can't wait to jump into this subject with you actually because I think it's just become a bit of I think a discovery for me. This whole concept of just stop trying to be and drop the trying and just be.
Yeah.
And then what happens is you have the I am because you're not trying anymore. You're just standing in the essence of who you are.
Yeah.
And how does that relate to success? Getting, to being a successful business owner and in the business where you want to get to your goals and that sort of thing. So I think I've made like this little discovery about, just stand, just drop everything, and then you've got the essence of who you are. And then, so I love to unpack that with you.
Mm. Yeah, that's great. Like, I'm still trying to learn how to unpack it on an intellectual level.
And is that the problem? Is
Well,
that
how,
is
well,
that the next step?
wait,
Just don't
sorry.
unpack it.
What did you say? What was
Is
the
that
question?
is that the problem that we're trying to intellectualize it?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to intellectualize it once so we can conceptually understand things.
Yeah.
And but when you're standing in I am, there's nothing to get, but everything to get. Do you get it?
I
It's such a
Unfortunately I
mind.
do get it because I guess the reason for wanting to unpack it and to understand it um, is really to help others
Yeah,
to
get it.
achieve it. But in doing so, is it a hindrance?
What does
And
hinder?
is it just a simple gift
Mm,
that we just accept?
yeah. Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. It's, yeah, a simple gift that you choose to accept when you want to. It's like letting go of all your past beliefs and traumas and everything that you thought you were, your negatives and your positives, and you just
So
take
it's
it.
like letting go of the story that we tell ourselves or the baggage that we come through our journey, the limitations,
Hmm.
the ego, who you perceive that you are,
Hmm.
and who you think people perceive who you are, letting go of all of that. And just like literally, I'm visualizing myself standing on a beach with my feet in the sand and the water
Mm,
and just being and just standing there, just
yeah,
looking up.
yeah.
And
That's a
that's it.
that's a great way to explain it. I guess that feeling of it. That's why I go to the beach all the time, because you get lost in this hustle bustle of a world. It's actually ironic because I was just thinking yesterday or 2 days ago when I was at the beach, I was like, man, I used up so much time to create the life that I wanted. And then I stopped going to the beach because you get lost in the hustle bustle. Isn't that interesting?
Oh, yeah.
And you take things for granted, things that you have access to every single day. And I'm like, why did I stop sitting watching the sunset on the beach every day? I don't know why.
Yeah, wow. It's so true.
And something as simple as that is, it's like the ego stopping you from your light. It's always the ego that comes in the way. I call it, my spiritual mentor says to name it squiggly. Don't call it the ego.
Slightly.
Something fun like, hey, squiggly, thanks for coming, and you can squiggle your way out now, you know?
Oh gosh.
because it's going to do everything and anything to stop you from your light. So I'm like, wow, just the fact that I could sit here and have 5 to 6 p.m. free. I could just easily walk out to the beach and sit there. But I'm like, oh no, it's going to take me 10 minutes to get there. By the time I get there, I can only sit for 30 minutes. And then my fingers will get cold. All these things that just come through your head. And it's just an opportunity to look where else does that show up. That voice
Yeah.
shows up everywhere in your life, especially when it comes to doing business, especially when it comes to the hard things, having those tough conversations. The ego will find every way to stop you.
Yeah.
And when you practice the I am and you practice that feeling you just explained, standing on the beach, like that Mr. Squiggly will, disappear faster. So it's a practice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like yeah, it's like showing up for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah. Wow.
So I'm sitting in the sun having this call with you because it's so important to give yourself, whatever your soul needs. And you can have it all.
Yeah. You're sitting in the sun. I've got a light glaring at me in my face
There's a
because
glow.
the sun is just starting to come out. You may have seen the changes in
Mm-hmm.
tone. Yeah. But, yeah. Just get that.
Actually, there's probably an exercise that I could share, but I might have to share that next week. Or I could put a link in the comments
Yeah.
below.
Yeah, that's okay. We could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Cool.
But
So, Janet, okay, can I
mhm.
ask you, like, taking that one step in relation to we're on a journey. This business is a journey for a start. Any business is a journey becoming who you want to be as a business person, and then the results as well, so that you can help others and things like that. How do you then go on to set those goals?
Sorry, I got friends on the rooftop.
Oh, that's okay. No worries. Setting those goals, and then, yeah, what do you think are tips for that? Because now you are in the I am status. You are being. You're just simply being. And I feel like I know what you're going to say, but I want to hear what you want, how
What
you.
are what are goals?
Yeah. So what's the next step? Okay. So you feel like you've grasped that. Like I'm right there. I'm in that place of discovery, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like my mind's going, okay, what's next? Or, you know, and so there's this fight going on. No, just stay in that place
Mm.
and be open to it. And that's what I feel like you're about to say. Um, but then there's this, okay, but there's got to be something more, right?
Yeah. So what's after this? After being
Is
I
that,
am?
yeah.
Yeah. Actually, it's to let things flow. There's nowhere to be but right here, and I just want everyone to feel what I feel and to experience what I experience. Is that what you were thinking? That's so cool. Because again, like if we want to get into the human side of the to do hustle bustle things,
Yeah.
sure, I could do another course, I could do another thing, I could add more things into my calendar, but there's really no point in a sense if um, you're not being and you're not practicing your I am and embodying that light within first. Because I always talk about how it's so important to get lost, right? And so it's the 80% inner
Yeah.
work and the 20% actions, right? And so let the inner work create your actions, not the other way around, because most actions that we take stem from scarcity, they stem from fear. And you really don't want to be running a business in that sense. Mind you, it works. People are very successful And the question is, why do you find a lot of rich, unhappy people or unfulfilled people? You think, after you accomplish these goals and you get somewhere, that you finally get to be happy. But no, it starts within. Find that happiness first, or be that happiness first.
Yeah. I'm just letting that sink in. That's amazing. That is that's exciting. It's the
Yeah.
unknown, it's letting go of it's also letting go of control, right?
Trusting, surrendering, letting go
Mm.
of the unknown. Mm.
Letting go of the list.
Yeah. Mind
Yeah.
you, like if you have a list or a top three things you should do or you want to do or that it's important to do, yeah, do it, but do it in a place of peace and calm.
Mm.
Because like I said, like I used to do things out of like, oh my god, I got to do this or else, it's like an underlying subconscious conversation that you have and you're not realizing that's like the program you're running with. Like I don't think anyone wants to take any action out of that conversation. It's like, oh, I got to do this or else I won't make this, or I will have to do this or I won't get this. It's like, no, I actually get to do this, and if I do, who knows what miracles is going to happen. Like I have no significance to the outcome. I
Yeah.
just let it flow. Whatever happens happens. And
That's
I
an
think,
exciting journey. That's
yeah,
exciting.
yeah.
Because I just think, like how greater can things happen when we take our hands off the wheel.
Mm.
Oh my goodness, Janet. That's amazing. Oh wow. Sorry, my nose is running. Oh my goodness. Wow. It's exciting.
So
Like mind is blown. Let me just put that out there.
yeah, so I know that what do you see for yourself, maybe how you've been operating? And I know
Yeah.
this is more of an intellectual question, and I don't want you to get into the mind of, okay, I got to answer, based on this new way that's still the
Yeah.
intellectual way. So, yeah, I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe just like, what do you see for yourself, perhaps?
Definitely it's taking the limits off because there are no limits.
Mhm.
It's it's that old saying, you don't know what you don't know until you know what you don't know. Um, and I think in the past, I've had this, uh, like the old princess Disney influence. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna have
Your Prince Charming.
your Prince Charming, and then
Yeah.
happily ever after kind of thing. But in actual fact, it's the journey, it's the footsteps that we take in
Mm.
life. You're walking the journey, you're walking the happily ever after. And I hear people say, those times of struggle and creativity and they're the best part of your life. Don't wish them away. And it's coming from people that have already walked the journey and they've experienced it. And and I don't know whether I'm just seeing a gift of being able to understand, but yet still saying, "Oh, I don't want that." I don't want to be going through that struggle and all the rest. Isn't that normal for everybody? But yet it's that those moments. It's not necessarily it's what we define it as struggle.
Hmm.
Yeah. So instead, like if we change that concept around creativity or that creative space, because a lot of breakthrough comes with the dark and the light, and then you see the light brighter because of the darkness that is there. Like there's so much. There's a lot of things that I could really go down to, like a
Yeah.
of
So
thoughts that keep coming in.
So I'm hearing that you're saying like when struggles come, it's an opportunity to be more creative, to overcome,
Yeah.
to create newly, right? So it's a
Yes.
blessing in disguise. And
Yeah.
I'm going to add on to that. So consider um, your negative creates the positive, and consider that's still coming from the same coin, just the other side. And so what happens if you could create beyond that coin? And that's where your I am is creating
Yeah.
beyond that coin, because even though you made a positive out of a negative, that actually technically still comes from the same programming.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
And that's where I'm out to get, because I've been, you know me, my journey, I've been doing so much personal transformation courses, healing, and things like that, and they've changed my whole life in the best way possible.
Yeah.
And I guess if you ask what's the next level, suppose I guess that's the next level.
Yeah.
It's like
Wow.
be beyond all of that positive and negative, and who you truly are. Like,
Oh, I've lost her. Here she comes.
and you were born with it, so you've always been that magic, and you were always born with it. There's nowhere to get but just to receive it now. And if you already understand it on that positive negative level and able to look at it at that way, I think you're beyond most, humans, right? Because a lot of humans, I would still say, are in the victim mentality, and when you're in the victim mentality, you can't see a positive and a negative. So, and it's a journey. Everyone's in their own journey. I used to be there, and it's just if you're willing to take on the work.
So when you say willing to take on the work, what you're saying is sometimes we can go into a flight and fright response almost.
Hmm. I think most are in that suppression. um, they don't want to face the reality. They don't want to know the unknown. Actually, yesterday when I was at dinner, my friend was like, I don't want to discover the unknown. Like, what am I going to do with it? I think that would mess me up even more. And,
Wow.
she, and I was like, I want to know everything. I want to uncover everything and anything, because I want to be the best version, the happiest version of myself on this earth as I'm living.
Yeah.
Why? Like, most don't want to because they're scared, because they don't have access to the same conversations. People, normalize it. I get it. When you're around, that's why it makes such a huge difference. Like, you are who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
And if
Wow.
you're going to surround yourself with people who are scared for the unknown, well, guess what? You're going to be the fifth person like that.
Yes. It's so true. You become like the people that you hang around with.
Yeah, and she's curious. I know she's capable of like so much, and I think it's just a matter, like, if we hang out more, it's a matter of just unraveling that fear that she has, because everyone has a story behind that fear, and that story creates your identity, and it creates your blockages, and it keeps you where you are.
Yeah. Do you know one of the reasons why I love hanging out with you, Janet, is because just in your conversations about what you're doing and your story about this happened, like for example, last week I think you shared the story about how you told yourself I shouldn't take this, I'm going to lose it, Janet Mai. And of course, you did lose it. And then, like, there was the whole conversation about it. The lessons that I learned in just listening to the story and the way you dealt with it, and um, it's really quite simple. But you're just being who you are, and you're just explaining your experience. But there's a lesson to be learned in how you deal with the experience, and then you're always reflecting like, oh, how am I dealing with that? So like you're learning as you're hanging around people, and that's the reason why you become like the people you hang out with. And so I've got no doubt in my mind that she will, um, gently learn how to let go of some of that fear, through your brave
Mm.
through your being brave. Because I really do believe that there's a saying that people throw around, really, oh, God can only give you so much that you can handle, and it's thrown around quite liberally. But I actually do believe that there is a gentleness, there is a gentleness in the universe, in God, that He does give us little snippets to deal with, to deal with, to experience, not too much. And even though sometimes we might think, oh my gosh, I can't deal with that, but we are stronger than what we think we are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That yeah,
Oh,
we are. I've always believed we are a lot stronger than what we think we are.
oh. And I'll probably find myself listening to my own words back.
Yeah,
And
I can see that you're like having a aha moment. I'm just letting you be. It's so wonderful.
it's going to happen, right? But yeah, because that's what happens. When we speak something out, we will live it as well. I often think, like that whole thing of don't judge other people, don't point your finger, because when you're pointing your finger at somebody, you've got three fingers pointing back at you, and you will go through that experience. Like you will, and you'll be tested, and you'll learn something, and if you learn it, then that's great. On to the next experience in life. If you don't learn it, you're going around that mountain again until you do learn it.
Yeah.
You know?
Isn't that interesting? So, like, if we were able to shift anyone who's watching right now, like, shift your perspective on things that happen to you instead of it's happening to you, it's happening for you. So,
Oh,
if you knew you were just in a classroom, like me sitting outside here, like, and then someone comes along and pours coffee in me, like, that's your test right there. And if you know it's a test, it's like, how are you going to react? Be angry and let that anger take all over you, and because your pants are wet now, or just laugh it off and be like, hey, it's okay, accidents happened. But just from that moment is like a test. It's like you're either, and that will alter your whole day.
yeah.
It doesn't even have to be a significant thing that happens to your life. Like, I look at everything as a test, but at the end of the day, I don't try to analyze it too much, because it's like, who can I be as a person, right? How can I respond? And I will always ask that question, like, what can love do? And there are a
Oh,
lot
that's
of times,
cool.
yeah, yeah. What can love do, or what would love do? And especially the times of anger, and anger creates a lot of ego, creates a lot of reaction, and that creates a lot of actions that aren't who you truly are. And
Yeah.
so when you go back to what would love do, love would be diminish all of that was even in the space.
Yeah,
Mhm.
wow.
Mhm.
That's so good. That's
And that's
great.
how you pass every exam, guys. And that doesn't mean like, I know some people might get reactive and be like, well, why would I love a person that cheated on me, or things like that? And it's not it's to have love and compassion for them, and have love and compassion for yourself, and to set healthy boundaries, but to not have any anger towards the situation anymore, because a
Yeah.
lot of us don't realize when you still have anger towards a situation or person, there's an energetic and physical impact in your life. And some people,
Wow.
I don't know why, they wait for a month or 2 months or 3 months to get over it. I need a process. I need a process. I'm like, you're just wasting a lot of damn time. And that's something that I had to learn my own doing, because I found myself being angry at a situation for a year or 2 years. And
Yeah.
until I was able to let it go and give it up and just have love for the situation and learn the lesson, a lot of beautiful things happened. And that again was at the intellectual level. But when you're at the I am level, you don't even have to intellectualize it. You'll just
Wow.
your light will be so bright that it doesn't, it's like, oh, okay, that person just something, and you just kind of say thank you and go on with your day, because
Wow.
you shine so bright that it doesn't even matter any external forces or any things that happen to you on the outside. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really get to you.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That is what do you say that? Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Oh,
and it goes back down to Mr. Squiggly. Just thank him,
yeah.
thank him, turn your back on him, and that's it.
Yeah. Gee, I love that cup.
Yeah. I love this cup too because it reminds me of you, reminds
Oh, thank
me
you.
of gratitude, and simply just being grateful for everything.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm so grateful for the moment. Seriously, I haven't got any more questions because I just like seriously that it's the moment. Like, but I do want to just for the sake of this recording, um, just touch on the fact that what does being mean for you in your business? Just to
Mm. Yeah, if you want to, like being for me in my business was, I guess, having no significance to the outcome. It also meant leading with love, leading with like human connection. And it's like, who could I be as a person in my business? There's so many different types of people as an entrepreneur. You can be the one that is the hustle and bustle, which is great. A lot of those people get a lot of results
yeah,
where you're working 24/7, you're always on the grind, there's never a moment where you rest, right? And so I really had to ask myself, like, I was scared to get lost in that, which I have, but it's like, why do we become entrepreneurs? We become one to live a certain way, have a certain type of freedom, but who do you want to be? So I really had to resort it back to my being. The closest thing to explain your being is to do what you love. So start your day, even if you have 5 minutes, just start your day doing what you love, being with your heart or your mind. Like, when that moment you wake up in the morning and there's no thought, just being with that
yeah,
moment.
yeah,
That's before all the concerns and questions and things to do, the to-do list comes in the way, and ending it with doing what you love. So yeah, for me, being is equal to doing what you love. And that could
yeah,
just be singing, dancing, and being a space for people to discover that. It's not for me. I guess I've never really been the type, like, I've always been the type of person to help people break out of their shells because I think that was also my journey of
yeah,
constant breaking out of my shell. Like, I was such an introvert. Like, if we were on, like, before, I would have like booze in this cup because I was so scared to talk. Like, you just needed, some liquid courage to be on camera and to be who you are and make sure you're saying the right things. But
mm,
it's a journey to break free and to be who you are.
yeah. Wow. So it's really about courage.
Hmm?
So it's really about courage.
Yeah, it's about courage, it's about resilience, it's about strength, it's about honoring yourself, being authentic.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Janet Mai. It's good. This is why I love these conversations. This is, it's just, it's so, what's the word? That saying that, you're here for others in your business. You're not giving them a handout. You're giving them a hand up. And, and this is what all this is. This is the greatest gift that you can give somebody is helping them to realize that they are an individual. They can be their true self. They were put on this earth. They're not born for average. They're not born to succumb to the rat race. They're not born to do through other expectations, life expectations, through their story, things that have happened to them. they're born for a purpose and to be their true self and to shine brightly. And what you are doing for other people, and myself included, is exactly what you said before, shining your light and showing the way, showing the steps forward and empowering people. It's just beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you're shining your light, people like for example, like you just wanted to shine too. Like I didn't force you to come with me. You're just like, hey, I want whatever it is, or I wanna, and that's how you know when your light is shining, is when people just wanna, it's either people are gonna come with you and discover with you, or
Oh,
they're
you're
gonna convince themselves that they're good, they're fine,
yeah.
they're good where they are. And that's okay
Yeah.
too.
Or repel.
Yeah, or repel, and like, you won't see them ever again. There's gonna be, it's interesting.
Or
Yeah.
run the other way. Not for me. Yeah, look, absolutely. Oh, which is okay. It really is okay because we all walk our own journey, and that's their journey, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah.
I used to look at really successful entrepreneurs. I'm like, no way, they cheated. I had all these stories like they cheated, they were in life, they had a handout. It's not as easy as it seems. It's not impossible. It's impossible to make that much money. Like if you knew who I was before and how I did not believe, oh my goodness, and to where I am now, you wouldn't even have known like I could transform into that person. So if I can do it, anyone can do it.
And it's really cool that you said that because there's this struggle. There is this struggle that goes, you know, it's for them, but it's obviously not for me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be there. Like I would be there,
Yeah, yeah.
but
And notice that is the ego convincing you otherwise.
okay.
Mr. Squiggly. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. It's a really cool space.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Janet. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Um, thank you. Oh my gosh. Um, I love these moments of discovery with you. Thank you.
Yeah, I love having these conversations because you always open a new realm of conversing. So it's always so good to just talk and see what comes out. Those are the best kind of conversations. Nothing that you have to plan. It's just something
Yeah,
to discover.
yeah, beautiful. Awesome. Well, folks, we will be back again to have a bit of a chat another time. And I encourage you to discover and allow yourself to be in that space of discovery and for yourself. It really is. It's not for me. It's not for Janet. It's not for anybody else but your own true self, that to know that you are loved, that you are an individual, that you've got so much gold to shine brightly in this world. And I hope that you were able to just find something in this conversation today. And if you have, please let me know. Just put a comment below or send me a message if you would rather keep it private. Um, that's the beauty of being able to be around amazing people like this. You do become like the five most uh, the five people that you hang around the most in your life. You will become like those people. So I encourage you to seek out those amazing people in your life and make those conversations happen. Like create a space where they can. I'm sure my words are failing me, but I think you kind of get the essence. And we'll see you next time. Yeah. Bye, guys.